The NFL is terrified of this. A new article has the Rams ranked among the top Super Bowl threats in the NFL and how the Rams can win the Super Bowl and have a winning formula. All that and more on this episode of Rams Digest. Welcome back to another episode of Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Finehirsh. And before we get into it today, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you do not miss any daily new Rams Digest videos covering all things Rams. And before we get started, I just want to shout out all graduates right now. It is graduate season. It's been around a year since I graduated. And shout out to all the graduates, graduated from high school, college, master's degrees, doctorate degrees, everybody graduating. It's a great accomplishment. So make sure to spend that time with your family and friends and enjoy yourself because you deserve it. Graduating is an accomplishment. And make sure to hit this like button. Hit that like button for all graduates. Wishing anyone who's graduating a very, very successful future. All of you a successful future as well, but specifically to our graduates for this week. And now getting into our main story of today, the Rams being ranked as a top Super Bowl threat heading into the 2025 NFL season in this article by Bleacher Report and LA Football Network. And after falling just 6 points short of upsetting the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles in the 2024 NFC Divisional Round, the Los Angeles Rams are entering this upcoming season with unfinished business and on a clear mission. Go further, and maybe we mean all the way. And I'm going to correct this article here. We do mean all the way. The Rams will get their first revenge when they face the Eagles in Week 3. But the bigger goal is proving they can outlast Philadelphia in the postseason and potentially get a higher seed in the regular season. NFL.com's Jeffrey Chihata is already on board, ranking the Rams as the 5th most likely team to dethrone the Eagles, only behind the Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, and Lions. I do agree with the first three, the Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens. I do believe are better teams than the Rams right now. However, only one of them would face the Eagles in a playoff matchup, and based on recent memory, I think we can all guess who that will be. However, the Chiefs have some issues of their own with the O-line. The Bills lack a true number one receiver. And the Ravens just can't seem to get it done in the playoffs. And the Lions is the interesting team here to rank ahead of the Rams. And that's mainly because the Lions are losing their two top coordinators in Ben Johnson being the new head coach of the Bears and Aaron Glenn being the new head coach of the Jets from the defensive side. Both well-deserved of getting head coaching positions. However, it is remaining to be seen how Dan Campbell will adjust with losing his two best coordinators. And we saw Nick Sirianni struggle to adjust with the Eagles the first year without Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon. And now, obviously, having the winning formula to go to the Super Bowl. The Rams being a top 5 team, to that being the second best team in the NFC, I do agree. I do believe the Rams are the second best NFC team behind the Lions. And comment down below right now what you think about that. Are the Rams a true top 5 team to dethrone the Eagles in the NFL? Third best team, I should say, in the NFC. Behind the Eagles and the Lions, and a top 6 team in total in the NFL. So make sure to comment down below. Do you believe the Rams are a top 5 threat to beat the Eagles? And now a point that is interesting that Chihata writes in his article, in that it may be surprising that the Commanders are ranked behind the Rams, and the Rams are higher on this list, seeing that Washington was the team that faced Philadelphia in the NFC title game. And he writes that it actually shouldn't be a stunner considering how both teams played against the Eagles in the postseason. This is discarding the Rams' regular season performance on Sunday Night Football against the Eagles, which was not the best. Let's just put it that way. It was not a great overall performance. However, the playoff game was a lot better. And the numbers do back up this assessment. The Commanders gave up 55 points in a 32-point loss to Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game, albeit they did have a rookie quarterback. A lot of the players, it was their first ever conference championship game, and the Commanders should only be going up from here. Very happy for Commanders fans that they have a team that is so exciting to watch after years of having Dan Snyder as their owner, now having a much better owner, much better front office in general, better culture, and they've always had great fans, so having a great team there is always a great sign. And meanwhile, the Rams did take the Eagles to the wire in a 28-22 defeat, coming within inches of a go-ahead touchdown when a Matthew Stafford late pass to Puka Nacua fell incomplete with just 26 seconds left on the clock. And thank you for this article for reminding me, and I'm sure many of other Rams fans, of that heartbreaking losses. The Rams did give the Eagles all they could handle in that playoff game. As I've always said, Sean McVay is that coach to me that a coach like Andy Reid would fear in a Super Bowl matchup, because Andy Reid would be like, oh, Sean McVay can run that play as well. He can adjust his defense. He can do all these different things so well. He really connects with his players, and I believe he is a key X factor to how successful the Rams have been, really, ever since he took over all the way back in 2017. And with this, the Rams do have a better chance, in my opinion, as well than the Commanders, because of their playoff experience, because of the coaching staff, because of the culture as well, and a veteran presence at quarterback, which I do believe is important come playoff time. I love Jaden Daniels just as much as the next guy. I think he is him. He is a future top quarterback. He already is a top 10 quarterback, but he is a future top 2 quarterback, because I'm just not putting him over Mahomes as long as Mahomes keeps playing the way he has. But with the Rams, I do believe they are a better overall team than the Commanders, so I do agree with this article. And comment down below as well what you think about that. Are the Rams a better overall team than the Commanders? And after winning the Super Bowl in 2021, many expected Los Angeles to spend the next several seasons mired in salary cap purgatory, as I did, especially after 2022 with all the injuries. Instead, the front office has executed a swift and shrewd rebuild, blending veterans with young stars to build one of the NFL's most intriguing rosters. And Shihada writes in his article, the team that relied heavily on expensive stars to win a Lombardi trophy 4 years ago is now young, confident, and eager to chase another title. And I fully agree with this as well. The way that the Rams have built this team has been excellent. Again, I credit Howie Roseman a lot with the Eagles as being a great GM, and they've done this as well with the veterans like a Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, the O-line, whether it's Brandon Graham, now retired, obviously, from that defense last year, Josh Sweat, although, again, he left as well, but you saw what the Eagles were able to do, blending the youth like a Cooper DeJean or Nolan Smith on defense as well, with that veteran presence. The Chiefs have done this as well with a guy like Chris Jones, Karl Loftus, McDuffie on defense, and you have Pacheco mixed in with Kelsey, Hollywood Brown. He's not old, but he is a veteran in the NFL, and these teams that can do that really well often go far in the playoffs. You've seen the Lions are trying to do that as well. The Commanders, a little bit that worked as well with Bobby Wagner being able to mentor that young defense. Terry McLaurin being able to mentor younger receivers there as well with a young quarterback. And it's very important to blend that youth with that experience. And just like this article said, for salary cap reasons as well, because players get really expensive, throughout their NFL careers. And that matters when you're building a Super Bowl caliber team and trying to pay players. And we've seen the Bengals waited way too long to pay their players, and now they're most likely going to be stuck in salary cap purgatory. Although Joe Burrow is just so good, and that offense with Chase and Higgins is going to put up a ton of points. But it's going to be tougher for them to build that defense. So it's great team building by the Rams, by Les Snead, by Sean McVay, the entire evaluation department, the finance department as well, for keeping that budget on track. And the Rams have really set themselves up not just to win now, but to win for the future with whoever their presumably young quarterback will be, unless if a veteran gets on to the trade block here. And after winning the Super Bowl in 2021, many expected them to be in salary cap purgatory, as I just mentioned, but now they have a very, very intriguing roster. Sorry about that there. One of the biggest splashes in this offseason came on offense, surprisingly, with where Davante Adams joins as a free agency, signing replacing Cooper Kupp as the primary complement to Puka Nacua, and Adams' arrival gives Stafford another elite target, while Kyren Williams returns as one of the league's most underrated offensive weapons, and Williams ran for basically 1,300 yards and 14 touchdowns in 2024, and is poised for another big season. Now this is the one that's up for debate, the Kyren Williams big season, mainly because they did draft a running back, Jarquez Hunter. I talked all about that in a recent video if you want to go see that one after this one. And we'll see how his carries are going to be. Blake Corum's coming back from the arm injury. But Davante Adams is that key free agency signing, as well as Terrence Ferguson in the draft. And that's another thing the Rams have done so well is drafting. Think about Jared Verse. Think about Quentin Lake. Think about Kobe Durant. These guys later on in drafts. Byron Young. Bobby Brown was a great draft pick. Now in the Panthers. Wishing Bobby Brown the best of luck over there. And Puka Nacua in the 5th round. Steve Avila in the 2nd round. We've just seen the Rams draft so well throughout recent years, especially post-2021 with Cooper Kupp and Tyler Higbee earlier on in the LA tenure. And the Rams really have a great scouting department, and they know how to develop players. And a quote that really stuck out to me about this was when Jared Verse got drafted, their first-round pick since Jared Goff, and he was kind of touted as the Aaron Donald replacement, if you don't remember that from last year, and they were all asking Sean McVay, the media, oh, how is he going to replace Aaron Donald? Is he going to be Aaron Donald? And Sean McVay said, no, he's going to be Jared Verse. He's going to be great. And that was a really telling quote on how the Rams developed their players, letting them be themselves. And with Devontae, he'll be himself with Puka Nacua. I do believe they're both going to get 1,000 yards, as I mentioned as well in a previous video. And this offense, combining that young with the old, as we've been mentioning, really, really potent. I would not be surprised at all if this is a top 5 offense next season with Sean McVay running the plays there as well. And I want you to comment down below right now, how do you think the Rams offense is going to be next season? Because I believe it is going to be absolutely dominant for them for years to come. And they also have a young, disruptive defense. While the offense is a mix of seasoned veterans and emerging stars, the defense skews even younger, but are potentially even more dangerous. Defensive coordinator going into his second season, Chris Shula, has a front seven that's bursting with talent. Rookie standouts Braden Fisk and Jared Verse are now paired with Kobe Turner. How could I forget about him? And Byron Young, creating a versatile and aggressive pass rush that showed flashes of dominance against Philadelphia. That is very true. And they dominated the Vikings with that 6-sack first half in the first round of that playoffs. And I said I kind of did a prediction of stats about this young defensive line with the whole video on Byron Young. And I said that I don't know if it's going to be a 10-sack guy just because everyone here is so good that you can't double any of them, but everyone's going to be able to eat. You know, everyone eats on this defensive line, and it's great drafting, great development by the Rams. The back half of the defense, the secondary and linebacking room, is where they do need some more younger players to really start showing that potential. And a veteran in Cam Curl needs to play a little bit better next season in order for that secondary to really match up. And then we do have a quote here as well. And that this team really relied on expensive stars who won Lombardi 4 years ago and is now young, confident, and eager to chase another title. The Rams are just as impressive on the other side of the football as well from the offense, especially in the front seven. And Shula can create havoc for opposing defenses. Los Angeles proved as much in Philadelphia back in January. The Rams should be even more dangerous this upcoming season and how that plays out. And I totally agree. Year 2, year 3 for a lot of these young stars. Year 2, year 3 is when a lot of breakouts happen. I know we just saw CJ Stroud have that bit of a sophomore slump if we're talking about other young players, but I firmly believe that this Rams team has that youth, has that experience. The defense doesn't need to be elite. Again, everyone just needs to play like themselves. The linebacking room, Nate Landman's a nice guy to have. He's undrafted. He has that edge. That's the one thing about undrafted guys, that they always have that edge to them because they know what it's like to be playing for those roster spots, and now they can make big impacts on this team. And what makes the Rams especially compelling is their balance. Stafford and Adams bring championship pedigree and leadership, while players like Nacua, Williams, Turner, and Young are all ascending stars. And it's a mix that gives McVay flexibility and dynamism on both sides of the ball. I fully agree with this. It gives McVay a ton of different options. The depth on this team is better as well, even better than the 2021 team with the addition of Terrence Ferguson, now with and the Chris Paul Jr. in the linebacking room, just to name a few. Josiah Stewart, we'll see how he pans out as a player. And Coleman Shelton added a lot of depth to the offensive line as another veteran free agency signing. And just making sure this Rams team has depth to withstand injuries, because every team in the NFL is going to go through injuries, and it's important to be able to withstand them. And I firmly believe the Rams have the ability to do so. And like the video right now for a well put together Rams team. And looking ahead on this team, the Rams are no longer viewed as a team in a transition period after last season. They're contenders. Their offseason additions, playoff performance, and continued development of young talent have them firmly in the mix to challenge for NFC supremacy. And the Rams have had a solid offseason that should land them among the best teams in the league and good enough to beat the Eagles, concluded Shadia. I firmly agree. The Rams, in my opinion, have the best chance in the NFC to beat the Eagles, even over the Lions, just because we don't know how Aiden Hutchinson is going to be returning from his leg injury. And that defense is very, very questionable. And we saw the Rams defense get so much better when Omar Spates was inserted into the starting lineup. And we'll see how he is in year 2. And comment down below what you think the formula to beating the Eagles is. Do you think it's being well-rounded like the Rams are? Or do you need some more top-heavy star talent? I want to know. Me personally, I believe it's in being well-rounded, because we saw the Eagles have both the star talent and depth. And now the Rams have that as well. And they'll get their shot at revenge early in the season, but make no mistake, the real battle between these two teams may not come until January. And I agree, most likely it will be the Rams will have to go through Philadelphia yet again if they want to have a chance at playing in the Super Bowl or even playing in the conference championship game. And it's going to be very important for the Rams to have a good showing in week 3 so that they are able to do that. And that's all for this episode of Rams Digest. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you do not miss any daily Rams Digest content coming at you for your daily Rams news. And comment down below what you think of the Rams team building and how you think this young and old dynamic will help them beat the Eagles. And do you believe they are a top 5 team to beat the Eagles? I believe they are, especially ahead of the Commanders. And leave some other teams as well who you think have a good shot down below. Like this video as well. I've been your host, Joshua Finehirsh. Well, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon for another episode of Rams Digest.